one of the stories, and this is so indicative of our times, that we moved on too quickly from, we just moved on too quickly, was the fact that the President of the United States called for the execution of Democratic lawmakers for publishing a video, which they have the right to do, reminding military members in general of the law, which says they should follow the law if it conflicts with orders that are given. Meaning, if an illegal order is given, they have the obligation to follow the law. That's what these Democratic lawmakers and veterans said in the video. Trump goes on to say this is a crime punishable by death. This is treason. Execution would be justified. But it didn't stop there. And it's weird that this hasn't been getting more coverage. But then they go after Mark Kelly. And then it goes even further. And they were trying to build criminal cases against Democratic lawmakers for saying something that is true and legal in a time when there's plenty of concern that Trump could end up giving, or someone in his Department of War could end up giving illegal orders. And they didn't name something specifically. They weren't going, you should engage in treason. It was just, here's a reminder, military service members. I talked to service members who were like, yeah, we learned that a bunch of times. There's nothing controversial about that. Trump, in trying to dispute the haters, posted a graphic of some like plaque that I don't even think he noticed when he posted it, literally states that if orders and the law conflict, follow the law as a member of the military. And they started behind the scenes, not a bunch of hoopla about this, started building criminal cases against these Democratic lawmakers. Like, meaning they wanted to arrest them for speaking. I thought Trump was going to be the free speech warrior. And here's the humiliating part for Trump and for Jeanine Pirro. Hi, y'all. I'm Jeanine. And I'm going to do some criminal cases, she says. That's not her accent. I don't know why I made it like that. But hey guys, it's Jeanine. We're gonna stick this sandwich right up where the sun don't shine for these lawmakers. And now my hair has to stay like this for the rest of the segment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Jeanine Pirro likes posting really frantic updates at her job as the DC U.S. attorney. So then look at this. Every single grand juror rejected Trump DOJ's case for indicting Democratic lawmakers. And if you're not aware, you can get grand juries to approve a lot, because that's just the approval of an indictment. That's not the actual trial. And you can get together, you can get enough people to sign on to it. You just present your side, boom, indictment. And not even one of the grand jurors that they brought this case to, trying to lock up or criminally charge Democrats, approved. They got laughed out of court. The Department of Justice needed yes votes from 12 grand jurors on a panel of 16 to 23 members in order to indict 6 Democratic members of Congress in connection with a video in which the lawmakers urged troops to refuse illegal orders. They reportedly got none. None. They couldn't get one grand juror to go, yeah, I think that they broke the law. Why? Because they didn't. That's why. And I look so dilapidated. Was that worth it? I don't know. Let's just quickly do this. It's not important. We're talking about authoritarians in America, but you can't think I'm credible if my hair looks like Janine's. Just the quickest pause to request that you click the subscribe button, the simplest, easiest, freest way, completely free, to support the work that we do. Right below the video, click that subscribe button. Back to the video. And so I guess she was the one trying to bring this case. The case was brought by the U.S. Attorney's Office of Washington, led by Jeanine Pirro. Her office's failed effort to indict the lawmakers is the latest example of Justice Department falling short in an effort to prosecute political rivals. So remember, this isn't the only time. And this is so authoritarian. I was going to use the other word, fashy, but they don't like when we use that word. But it is very fashy to go, I don't like James Comey because he spoke out against me. I'm going to concoct some case claiming he lied under oath about a leak that if he did do it, which I think it happened from somebody else. I think we know who did it. But even if James Comey did, it helped Trump. It was a leak that was good for him out of the FBI, but they tried to get him on lying under oath when he said he wasn't aware of the leak happening and he didn't approve of it, which I think is true, by the way. But even if it weren't, this was obviously a concocted case to try to go after James Comey, not because of an actual egregious law violation, but because James Comey became very critical after being the FBI director under Trump of Trump and didn't swear his loyalty to Trump. Or Letitia James or Don Lemon. You have the Trump administration bringing charges or trying to against their political enemies, and it being slapped down over and over by judges, now by grand juries. Obviously, ultimately, they found a grand jury that would charge Don Lemon, but they're literally shopping around. And they wanted us to believe that it was Trump who was politically persecuted and Trump was going to end the weaponization. And now, can you imagine if in the Trump cases, they kept trying to bring charges and it kept not being approved because of how weak the charges were? They just kept trying and then ultimately found someone somewhere who would approve. Some court. That would be a huge example to MAGA of how concocted the charges were. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And I think it's egregious with Comey. I think it's egregious with Letitia James. It's so obvious that this is political retribution. But I don't think anything is as egregious as trying to criminally charge people for saying a true fact in a video. And this is where I really start questioning my MAGA brothers and sisters. And I don't mean literally brothers and sisters, but who pretended to care about the First Amendment or pretended to care about political weaponization. And this should serve as an epic example of, at least in this case, a failed weaponization, but the effort at just locking up people you don't like. So then imagine if you wanted to make a comparison to, if I told you, hey, I was watching a history documentary about this fascist regime, and it was so disturbing because they were trying to get the military to swear loyalty to them. And then whenever opposition leaders spoke out saying that military members should remember that their obligation is to follow the law if it conflicts with illegal orders, and then the dictator locked them up, put them in jail, you'd be like, oh, wow, crazy times in history, huh? Now, luckily, they haven't been successful in actually bringing a case, but that's exactly what they're trying to do. That is right out of authoritarian history books. And we've gotten to a point now where you can't really lie to yourself about it. It's not just, yeah, it seems like he's going after James Comey, but maybe he really thinks Comey was lying and he should be held accountable. Okay, now they're adding Letitia James. Wow, they're trying to bring like a mortgage fraud against her after what Trump was prosecuted for with fraud. Woo. Okay, but maybe he really just thinks she needs to be held accountable. Now you have a bunch of Democratic lawmakers saying something that they have the right to say and a failed attempt at putting them in prison. There's no explanation. I already thought there was no explanation after the CBS example or the New York Times example or the Ann Seltzer example, the FCC threatening licenses example. All of that, don't know what that last word was that I just said. It can't go ball. All of that I already was black and white. But then you add this, you cannot say you believe in law and order, the rule of law, the First Amendment, and think this is anything other than an utter attack on those things.